Welcome back. I hope y'all are doing good. Hope you guys made it home safely. We're going live tonight with William. William is a fellow expat, and he lives in Panama. And we're going to be talking to you guys about why he made the move, what actual life like is in Panama. We'll get into why I made my move, what life like here is in Medellin, and hopefully answer some questions that you guys may have regarding what actual life is like here. So many people are considering moves and are almost in like a I feel like you guys are about to make knee jerk reactions. So many people don't know how their passport works, thinking that they need a visa to come to Colombia or Mexico, and not understanding that a passport, at least an American one, works a particular kind of way. Also, going to do a temperature check. Want to see how y'all doing. It is day 5. I happen not to tune in to what was going on in the United States today, so I do not know what may have happened. Looks like William's joining right now. What's up, my brother? How you doing?
I'm fantastic, sir. How you feeling?
I am doing pretty well, man. I'm doing pretty well. I was just kind of letting people know why we were getting on tonight because I know that you, as well as mine, DMs, messages have been on fire since since the election. Like I think
Yeah.
everybody went into it optimistic, and then it quit. So we're gonna get introductions, but I gotta let you know this. So literally, I was down here. They had funny situation. There's a space called Skybox. It's in Morellis, and literally the owner is a black expat from the states. Talking to him, he actually used to be a professor at Clark Atlanta. So like super small world. So he threw a election night party. Right.
Wow.
So all of
Wow.
us came out and we're sitting there. He's got specials. We're having a good time and
In Colombia.
we're in Colombia. And we're sitting here and we're watching this and everybody's having a great time. And then it just started getting a little weird in there, the energy. And then he had stopped the happy hour and then started it back up again because he could feel the energy shifting. And I'm like, you went to throw a party, bro, and you end up throwing like some funeral. People are walking around here
Right.
looking
Right. It's
looking
awake.
sad. So I was like, yeah. So since then, I woke up
That's
and I
hilarious.
had people that weren't people that I haven't talked to in years contacting me. Uh, they had been seeing me living out here for a while and now like kind of woke up. But we're in the same boat where we woke up before the election night and a number of years beforehand. So with that being said, will please be able to kind of give an understanding of who you are, where you came from. They know you're in Panama, but you know what even prompted the move to Panama and out of the United States?
All right. First, thanks for having me. My name is William Easley, but everybody calls me Big Will. I run Go Explore Panama, and I grew up in North Carolina. I ended up going to Morehouse for college. So I was in Atlanta for 10 years, and I left Atlanta right after the Olympics, or right before the Olympics in '96, and moved to DC. So I was in DC for the duration until Panama in 2001. I mean 2021. What led me to Panama? Ooh. Life in America. I'm a 55-year-old black man, so what didn't lead me to Panama? You know, ups and downs with trying to survive in the American system as a college-educated black male. I mean, things were good on one hand, but at the same time, there was no escape from, you know, being held at gunpoint, random frisking, being denied uh, loans and equity and all that kind of stuff. So, um, all of that kind of bubbled to the top and have been simmering for years and years and years and years. And my wife and I started talking about retirement plans, and those retirement plans quickly focused on being outside the country. And then the first Trump administration came, and
Hmm.
both of us are in D.C. We support the federal government for our careers, so we're making the sausage, which we're watching the sausage being made for the American citizens. And then uh, the nature of my job, I ran business development for federal contractors, defense contractors, and stuff. So
Can you speak up a little bit, Will? I'm
I'm
having
sorry.
a little yeah, I'm having a little hard time hearing you.
No problem. No problem.
Yeah,
So
that's better.
okay. So my career was doing business development or running business development for federal business contractors, defense contractors, folks eating off of the federal government
Hmm.
tray. And I was inside of every agency imaginable. I worked EPA, NIH, Department of Defense, Energy, Education, you name it. I
Hmm.
learned how the government worked all over the place. And the first administration, we saw some really horrible things happening that the media didn't cover. So we started accelerating that retirement plan talk. And then COVID hit, and watching the response to COVID was just, oh my God. It became
Yeah.
like, that's when it became an escape plan. And we thought in that the election where Joe Biden won against Trump, we thought that that might provide us some respite, but then January 6th happened. So,
Hmm.
and that was the last draw. It was just like, look, they don't even respect their own hollow grounds. It's time for us to bounce.
For
So
certain.
that's what led here. I mean, there's a host of other things in there. There's cost of living. There's longevity.
Nah, literally. I know cost of living is definitely on everybody's radar right now because every time I get on Facebook, I think I see another person asking, "What are the price of a dozen eggs where you live at?" And because it's getting down to the bare necessities, and so many people are looking and trying to figure out where do I make my first stop, and not realizing that your first stop doesn't mean that it's your only stop. It's just an opportunity to see if the life that you think in your head is something that you can actually live. Did you guys think anywhere else besides Panama before you settled on Panama?
So when we originally started talking about retirement, it was Panama, Portugal, Belize, Costa Rica. Everything was international, but you know, the escape plan. Now it's you jumped off the airplane and you got to pull the ripcord. So we
Hmm.
didn't have we didn't feel like we had enough time to really do a thorough search at that point. We knew that
Hmm.
Panama was hitting all the bells and whistles for us, though. We did a site visit for 2 weeks right after we got vaccinated in 21, and we had a whole list of red flags. We didn't have to check a single one of them. So,
That's so. That is something that I say. We I tell these guys that there's 6 steps to move abroad, and the first step is the idea of thinking of it. And so many people are in a scenario where they don't actually know what they're leaving and or know what they're looking for. They're just certain that they want to leave. And I tell people to visualize that because you bring up a good point. You say, hey, we had some red flags. We knew some things that we just did not want to deal with. And so many people don't even realize that this is not your ordinary move. This isn't a situation where you're going from state to state, city to city, neighborhood to neighborhood. It's a new culture. You have to be open to be comfortable with being acclimated to things that you might not have grown up with. And I think that mindset before anything physical happens is probably one of the biggest things that I think a lot of people that are at the crossroads now don't actually understand that they have to take on. Have you seen that on your end?
yeah, there's people that are reacting and not doing as much research as really be required to make a move of this magnitude. You're right; it's not moving from Atlanta to DC. It's international borders. There's residency involved. There's bank accounts, healthcare considerations, all kinds of things. Language. Um, so you really need to plan as much as possible. Um, I believe the best. What I try to tell my relocation clients is stay in motion. Don't stop activity. You can research and get the documents required for residency at the same time. And thankfully, we live in a day and time where research can be done, consuming some content like this.
Exactly.
You're a lot more fortunate than people, human beings 50 years ago didn't have access to things like this. We watch videos, we were in Facebook groups, so we had established a soft network with people in Panama even when we came for our site visit. So, we were proactive about getting out there. We didn't sit back and wait for things to happen. We actually pushed things to happen. So you definitely want to have a good mindset and know that, you're going to roll up your sleeves. It's time to get some work done.
No, seriously, I tell people, maybe it's been a while since you've done some homework.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been a while since you've actually done some leg work. But this is not something that you need to go into thinking that it's just me packing my things up and leaving. And the even the so let me ask you this. I had a bunch of stuff when I went to go move. And I realized that, I mean, twofold. One, I can't take all of this stuff out of the country with me. The other fold was I realized that I had spent so much time accumulating this stuff, and I was at a crossroads where it was like, I'm about to leave all of this behind. And I tell people that even the mental portion of that process, because you are ingrained with America in you, and the consumption and what it is that you need all of the time. And then when you give that up, and even the concept, and you have to apply that. Did you go through that, or am I tripping?
No, man, it's not your imagination. Look, the most pivotal thing for me was the first Christmas season that we spent outside the U.S. in 2021. It was the first time I wasn't inundated with, the buying signals from mass media, from, everything, television, radio, billboards. You commuting to work and you listen to Russ Parr or whatever, and he's telling you to go buy stuff. So I mean,
Yep.
I didn't feel that. We actually got to focus on, the season and family and being thankful and things like that. I remember some funny stories, like, telling friends that we were thinking about doing this, and some of them were straight up like, "Hey, man, you'll never be able to give up that American way of life." And I kind of chuckle, like, which way of life are you talking about? Is it the stress from how they treat you in corporate America? Is it the stress from financial stress? What you talking about? But it's stuff that experience of downsizing that is necessary to make this kind of move. I think it's a very cathartic and necessary part of the process to help recalibrate you to what life what's really important in life. Human beings weren't born to buy stuff.
Yeah.
That's not
Yeah.
our purpose. That's not our purpose on the planet. But that's what it's become in capitalistic societies. And look, I was a sales. I'm chief capitalist. So I get it. I get it. But everything has to be in moderation. It can't just be unfettered and unadulterated. Trade can happen in a sensible and equitable and ethical fashion, and that's exactly how I run my business. And with my partners, I'm all about cooperative economics in the community. Things that we were taught in school. I'm trying to put them in action now in life, and it's working well. And I'm shocked at the ease of being able to do it compared to when I tried to do it back in the States.
Well, I'll tell you why, and and I actually absolutely love that cooperative economics, because not only is that what it's going to take, is it's also going to take the community around cooperative economics to be able, and I so people, so you guys, so many people that don't like know about Colombia and only know what it is they've seen on the internet. When I first started coming here and well living here, and I was putting the things that I was doing with, and they were like, "There's a lot of black people in the room. Like, they're all from all the United States." And I'm like, "I am the only person that is from America here, like the North America," and they don't even know that there's so many of African Colombians here that is going to like kind of freak them out.
Mm,
But what you also realize, I tell people, a lot of people when they go to say I'm going to move, family and friends might call you crazy.
mm,
However, when you go to say and take said move, you will find community that has already also been called crazy
yes.
and have been craving. And I talk about just that second family, not the people you woke up here with, but people that you are able to build with, have community with. And cooperative economics is such an important topic when you consider, because so many people are at a crossroads in America trying to figure out how do we continue to move forward at a time where everybody's trying to run in one lane. I'm just in my lane and my lane only. And you go out of the country and you see cooperative economics naturally and organically happening where it seems so much friction at sometimes.
It, it's unfortunate that that happens, but you're spot on. And look, I was when I got to Colombia for the first time. Even I was like, "Whoa, really? This is nice." And I specifically remember being there last summer at the Hyatt Cartagena,
Hmm.
and it was a couple of brothers that were there from the Midwest, and I was talking to them at the bar, trying to walk them through their shock and awe, and
Yeah. Tu eres
with
mi
the
color. Tu eres mi
right,
color.
right. I'm like, look, dude, this is what you get down here, man. We got to remember more than boats came this way than what
Way more, way
way
earlier.
exactly.
But they don't actually know that though. Like a lot of people don't know that and or wrap their head around that, because if you did know that, then you wouldn't be surprised that I was the only I'm the only American in here. They just all black.
Right, they're just black. All blacks are from America or Africa. Oh, actually, from Africa, yes, but the diaspora is everywhere. We're definitely not all in America. Definitely.
Let me ask you, do how did you was your move your first extensive travel out of the United States?
We traveled for vacations internationally, and then younger, there were church things that I would do internationally. But being gone for like a month, this was the first time that long period of time. I think before then it had been a week or maybe 2 weeks tops outside the country.
Let me ask you. We try to get to some real conversations here, because these people aren't going to get this in a microwave in 30 seconds in a TikTok reel. Some people got to really like have a conversation. So, how did you feel? Because I know you had to feel it when you first realized that you were being going to be treated as an American
Hmm.
when you were abroad, as far as living there versus how you may have felt as a black person living in America. Because a lot of people don't realize that you leave America and you're like, I'm a black American, and then they call you a gringo, and you could be sitting next to some person that is completely the opposite of you and is also American, and they will both be like, those gringos. Like it's not like that's a
Right,
black guy, and they know what's going on. They're like, how did I know you went through it? So how did you feel? Better yet, because I know you went through it.
right. So there were some pros and cons on that. When we first started traveling internationally for vacations, George Bush was president. so, so
Junior.
right. So I remember being embarrassed then to tell people, they would look at it and be like, okay, well, and you're from DC?
You down the street.
Right,
Can you go tell him something for me?
right. And then, we saw and felt the shift when Obama was president. We're in the DR. People are like, oh, wait a minute. You work for the government. You work for Obama. You're rich. And it's like, whoa, stop. Stop. Obama
Damn,
rich.
Obama got money. I didn't get no Obama nickels
I'm,
when
I'm,
he came
I'm,
in office.
I'm scratching and surviving. But so, you know, being here in Panama, there was that realization that, yes, they see us all as Americans. Um, so at one point, it felt funny to be included for once, because
Yeah,
back home, people were questioning it, right? So now being included in the count. But the other side of the fence was like there are two holidays here that are dedicated to commemorating American aggression against Panamanians. And you know, but both holidays we kill people. One is an invasion, and another one's when we shot students trying to raise Panamanian flag on one of our bases, which it's their land, but our base.
yep.
Okay.
Mm.
Uh, so I felt really funny when I learned that the next day there's going to be an anti-American holiday, and here we are in a Central American country. Do we need to go out tomorrow? Do we need to, put our heads down? Do I need to walk up to people and say I'm sorry? What's
You
what's the protocol here?
you felt like an apologetic Karen at that point. Like I'm
Exactly,
sorry.
exactly,
I
exactly.
didn't even do it.
But this is an important point. You just touched on it. So part of the thing that I went through was when we first got here, we lived in an area that it was really made for North Americans, and there's just go call it like it is. A lot of white people there, and they bring their ways with them. So you would see them yelling at people in the grocery store because they couldn't speak English, even though you are in a Spanish-speaking country.
Boy,
They would yell at this building staff, and I felt horribly. Hey, we felt so thankful to be here and to be allowed to be able to thrive and what's the term? Heal from all that PTSD of living in the United States, right? So we're gonna learn the language. We're so thankful. Gracias, gracias, gracias. What can we do to help? How can we get involved and help the community? I'm watching these people yell at stuff at people. So I'm walking up behind them after they finish, and I'm apologizing. Hey, all Americans don't act like that. And dude, the Panamanians pulled me to the side in Coronado. They were like, "Look, bro, we understand. We love Black Americans. You
see,
guys are respectful. You wait. You're patient. You say thank you. Please. You try to speak our language. We know who the problem is."
hmm.
And that was a realization. That was like,
Wake up,
okay,
man.
some of them do recognize some of what we had to deal with, even though Hollywood does a good job of glossing it over. And
Yeah.
I know most of what they know is Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
They think
Yeah.
America's
Yeah.
all milk and honey, and I'm like, no, Blair, no, it's not. We just do a good job of selling it.
The cow is dry and the bees are dead. The cow is as dried up and the
Right.
bees have gone to pasture.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes. It's crazy, but that I'm still dealing with it. And we see other people. I have some friends that don't want people to come here. So it's both ways. But yes, I'm a gringo too. I'm just not like that gringo.
Nah, I got you. I have to
They,
unexplain my.
they like me. They listen to the same music. There was a barber shop here. I walked past and I'm like, they're blasting Tupac and Snoop, America's Most Wanted. I'm like, this is my tribe.
Yeah, they playing
And
the
they
good
know the
stuff.
words. Right. They know the words.
And that's what I'm saying because it's so funny because over here people will be like, you talk to somebody, they're like, you speak English? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, how'd you learn English? You're like, Well, I listen to a lot of hip hop music, and I'm like, I listen to Bad Bunny all the time, and I am not, I am not, I am not going this way. How did you get a full? It's, shout out to my boy. His name may strike fear, but I promise you, he's the nicest guy ever. Danger in Cartagena. Anybody happen to watch this? His name is Danger. But if you ever met him, first of all, he about 6'4", and you know in Colombia, like to be like super tall is one thing,
Yeah.
but second of all, he talks like he grew up in New York. And you ask him why, and he's like, I listen to a lot of rap, and I'm like, what? So the ability to exchange culture, the ability to see America from there versus it's like being on a football field. When you're on a football field and you're running, you can only see what is on the football field and a little bit of vision that you have that is outside of your helmet. However, should you be in the skybox as a coach or as a coordinator, you're able to look at things a whole lot differently, see the play coming before it happens, like all of that, and it almost gives you almost a catbird seat and comparing what life was there versus what life could be here. And that makes me want to know from your perspective, like you said you spent 2 weeks in Panama.
Yeah.
What was it that made you say, all right, babe, this is it. This is where we are going to go.
Um, a lot of it was fear. To be honest, we watched family members pass away from COVID. We got on a plane with our mask and our face shield on, and it was the first time we had been around people for a
Hmm.
year and a half. So, but when we got here, we saw how they were treating it, and they were doing everything the way that we expected the United States to do it. They weren't fighting each other. They all were masked up. They paid attention to social distancing. They had temperature check stations at every business. You had to put your foot up
Literally,
on the vent.
wait, back then, because I was coming to Colombia a lot during
Yeah.
the pandemic, I still had like people coming. They used to have the gun at the restaurant, and they would just put it to your head like.
Right, right. They were serious about that
But they
joint.
were not playing. You had to step on the. Remember, you had to step on the your shoes. You had to step on the thing and
Yes.
then dry them off. They were not playing.
Right,
Things that you were expecting in the states.
right. But they also didn't have refrigerated work trucks like we did. So, seeing when we got on the plane, I very much felt like, this is a crisis, red alert, you know, Scotty, I need warp power right now. The Klingons are knocking on our door, player. We got to
Nah,
move.
that's real.
So it was, let's go here and make sure that we don't see these red flags. And if any red flag that we see, the deal is off. We'll move on to the next one, but we're going to have to find some place within a year or two because all hell's going to be breaking loose in this country
Hmm.
soon.
Hmm.
So when we got here, the thing that made us want to be here, I mean, my God, they were treating the pandemic right, and the people were pleasant. The weather was everything we thought it was going to be. We kicked the tires. Look, we tried to go to some of the bad spots to see what was going on. Now, granted, it wasn't regular life because it was COVID. Things were slower, but we didn't see anything that scared us. We didn't see like, sicarios running people down in the street. you know,
What people assume from Netflix movies,
exactly.
Narcos, and things. You, so
We saw
people.
stuff. They had stores with electronics and Xboxes and iPhones, and as a matter of fact, that during that vacation or that 2 week stay, I bricked my phone. I had like $2,000 Samsung phone or something, and I bricked it, and it fell in the pool. And I had to buy a phone while I was here, and the phone that I got was like $400 or $500, and it was better than the phone that I bricked, and it was unlocked. So I was like, wait a minute. And I went to a little Chinese store in Coronado. It wasn't even like a Best Buy that had it. It was just, I was like, this is
See,
amazing. How am I?
yeah.
how am I getting this kind of stuff here? So once I realized we can get Amazon, everything that we think is cushy about life, we can watch television here. You
Yep.
know,
I watch everything that you guys watch at home. That's why I call my friends and family. And they're like, "How do you know this?" And I'm like, "Cause I got TV, dog. Like,
gotcha.
why
I'm
would
watching your channels.
I'm watching Miami news right now. The shit is
See,
going down."
exactly, exactly. We still watch DC News. I tell people, as a television reporter, I'm like, yeah, I still see more all the time. Y'all not get over anything on me. I turn it off a lot because it's depressing. but we see it. We understand what's going on. So we didn't see anything to be afraid of. As a matter of fact, the people were kind. We didn't know that much Spanish. We knew enough to ask for a bathroom and to say thank you. And the people were taking care of us. They were patient while we were waiting, doing the Google Translate. I thought it was gonna be like Americans, like why can't you speak the language? What's wrong with you?
As long as you're trying.
So it was beautiful. It was like when you see the sunlight, you envision what heaven looks like. That's what it felt like for those 2 weeks. And we had a meeting before getting on the plane, and on the plane ride, I'm making plans like, okay, well, we can put the house up for sale at this time.
See, he tell y'all
Because
what I told y'all.
it knocked out the park. We were like, this is, we can live here. Once we saw Panama City, and we were like, this is Miami. They have everything.
Yeah.
What the only thing they don't
Panama
have is
Panama has a
bullshit.
lot more than Colombia because when I go through Panama's big ass airport, first of all, the airport I never am able to be on the same side as my connecting plane. I
Me
am
either.
always I am always 400 gates due east like every time. But on those walks, I'm seeing first of all, anybody that actually knows me knows when I go back to the United States, one of the only things I eat is Olive Garden. And listen, I don't eat the
They
chicken.
got it.
I only can eat like because when I go back home, the foods. I don't even eat the chicken there. Like I do my best to stay away from that kind of stuff. Half of the time, I'm eating like vegetarian stuff, just because the food is just completely
It's, it's different.
different. But they have Olive Garden in Panama's airport. They have Popeyes
Yep.
in Panama's airport. I
It's
was like,
good.
what? I just need to go over to Panama to get some Olive Garden. I don't need to go all the way home.
It's crazy. Yes, the Olive Garden is good, but the Popeyes, I mean, like, really? It's good. I mean, it's really good.
Louisiana is on the map, y'all. Let me tell you.
Yes, yes. They got KFC too, but I like the Popeyes better. I get that.
Yeah, if I had a Popeyes here, but I got Frisbees. Frisbees is better.
Uh,
I wouldn't say better than Popeyes, but it's definitely better than KFC.
man, the food in Colombia is excellent. We like the food in Colombia better than Panamanian food. Your food has more flavors, zestful, especially
If you
for
at the right place,
oh,
if you are
that's it.
where we are, then you definitely gonna be in the right place. However, if you are not, you could, because a lot of people on the internet are like, "Oh, Colombian food is bad." And I'm like, you aren't eating at the right places. You don't know where to go. If you can just say that because Colombia keeps showing up on the top cuisines in the world. Yet you guys keep going to the internet and saying the food is bad, and I'm like, no, 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 no.
Oh man,
You're just not eating the right things. And in different parts of Colombia, just like different parts of Panama, they're gonna cook differently. Black people have been using seasonings all around the world for a very long time, and when you go to some man, they have. Listen, if they are watching, shout out to them because there are some beautiful restaurants out here. It's, Yamakita, they got a Jamaican restaurant out here. She's from the UK. Came out here, got oxtails, jerk chicken, curry chicken. Darwin with Andalou, Chef Dior with Akiota Tradicional. Like there are so many different um, Afro-Colombian restaurants. Never mind some of the similar trappings of home because there's even Price Mart here. And Price Mart affords you Hebrew national hot dogs
yeah,
and certain things. So it's like you guys think
Moscato.
that you right. You guys think that you have to give up. Like, don't get me wrong, because you cannot bring the United States with you, but you don't have to give up
Right.
all of the trappings of the life that you have because you have been sold that Panama or Colombia is a third world country. Because this leads me into the next thing. America is now, and it may have been before, but it is now the ghetto. The last 5 days, we have seen things get moved in ways where we were told that boats that big don't move that fast.
Right. Right.
And we are in a scenario, and that's why these conversations are important because we want to set the tone, give you guys an understanding. Like, yeah, you can go to Panama, you can go to Colombia. This is why you might be what we were thinking we were moving. But once you actually understand what the real crossroads of it is, because you mentioned the pandemic, you mentioned Trumpito,
Yeah.
but now we're back in another situation with him again.
It's gonna be
We
worse.
are, we are. They just got 10 inches of snow in Florida, 10 inches of snow in New Orleans. A new fire just got lit up in on the west. Like, what is going on? And people are at a scenario where they may feel as much pressure as it is and craziness that you get used to in the United States. Now they're just piling more on. Do you feel like that's what you're getting from your circles? That more people are now stressed out and looking to like, how do I put my feet on the road to leave?
So yes and no. From the activity that I'm getting has increased dramatically. I mean, I was on a consultation call just before we did this one. So I'm talking to a lot more people, but for my peer group, I'm not hearing as much from them, and I'm a little concerned because
Hmm.
I see what's happening in the dismantling of it, and these are folks that went to school with us too, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm,
I know you know what we know, so we learned it together.
mm-hmm. Right.
So why aren't you talking about this? Why aren't you making a plan to address this? And then especially for people that have children, I'm like, even before the administration came back into play, when the Supreme Court, voted struck down Roe versus Wade, I was like, look, here's a sobering fact for Black folks. Black people in the U.S. with children at that age now are the first people since Civil War to have to worry about their kids having less rights than they did.
Hmm.
Ever since the Civil War, we've been progressively gaining more and more rights, and then we just took a step backwards. Now women don't, your girls aren't going to have the same rights that you had growing up. They're not going
Yeah.
to have the same access to options that you had. Not that the options that you had were plentiful,
Yeah.
but still,
Yeah.
they're not going to have any of that. So, and the other sobering thing is, like you said, the swiftness. It's supposed to be an aircraft carrier. They're turning on the dime, but that motherfucker's
We
turning
were
on the.
told that we can't go that.
It's
Told we
turning on
can't
the
go that
dime.
fast. Bro, it's
Right.
like Barry Sanders speed out here. It's like I've never seen
Exactly.
government move this fast. We were actually told we have to go by the books. We've got to play this by the books. We have to be bipartisan to be able to talk across the aisles and be able to put these people in because they're the only way we're going to get anything done. And then nothing still gets done, and we still end up with the same thing. And then you see somebody that doesn't have any political experience. It's like I'm just knocking everything over. And what you gonna do about it?
What you
Because
gonna
they
do
he've
about it?
already been shown that he has the ability to do what he wants to do,
And
and
get away with it. He's
and
king. He's king.
everybody said never again. I literally remember they went on CNN and or listen. I watched Fox too because you got to know what the ops talking about, so you can pay attention to what both
Right.
sides of the situation is. And I was looking at them and they were like, never again. Think about it. It's a Republicans against Trump situation. So they were really like, never again. We would never be in a situation. But maybe those never againers felt that Kamala was so bad that maybe again was just perfectly fine even after January. Like,
So white supremacy is a hell of a drug. It's all that it's white fear. Demographics are shifting. So the whole planet knew that the United States was going to be the first Western civilization to go majority minority. White people would be the minority,
mm,
or one of the minorities in the country. So everybody was waiting to see how the U.S. handles it. And not looking too good right now. New Zealand's gonna be next, but they know it's been coming. So everything, it started in, I think, 2004 was the first time the U.S. Census said, "Hey, by 2040, it's gonna be white people gonna be a minority." Then we elected Barack Obama in 2008, and I think people were like, "Wait a minute, y'all said we have 40 years, and nothing's happened." And this is the backlash. So just like the Reconstruction, blacks gained citizenship, they gained rights, they gained the right to vote. We voted at the highest point that we ever voted, right after 1865. We've never been able to vote like that again. We had like 2 or 3 years, even though life was rough, we were sharecroppers and a lot of us were destitute. We started from nothing. We still built communities. We still built businesses because we had access for a hot second, and then they took it all away from us. And that's what's happening now. We had a little stuff going on with Barack Obama, and it was nice, and we were sharing photos of the family on social media. Little black kids were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be president one day too." And
Mm-hmm.
it felt real good. But here comes the Reconstruction part of it, and that's what I think people need to be really mindful of, because Jim Crow was coming back. They've already legalized segregation again effectively in the workplace, and it's going to, the Supreme Court already set the stage for that a few years ago when they allowed a business to, I think it was the gay wedding cake, and they were saying
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
businesses have the right to express political views because a business is a person. Remember, they said for Citizens United, businesses, corporations are people. People get the right to support political candidates, so that's why we're letting all this money come into our politics. So they've been setting the stage for this for a long, long time. And the cognizant thing is, people our age, we have never ever had to deal with what's coming. We read about it in history books. We saw it on Eyes on the Prize, and Black History Month programs, or Sunday school at your church, maybe if you have an Afrocentric pastor or whatever.
True.
Now it's going to be in your face. Now you're going to have to live it. You're going to have to really understand, what it means and how that's going to impact your life. And for my folks in the D.C. area, federal workers, they saw how the middle that Prince George's County being the wealthiest black county in the country.
Mm-hmm.
That ain't gonna be the case no more, because that happened because of the federal government. The federal government did not segregate after the 50s, so it was a place where professional blacks could go and get good paying jobs. And it was, they had the union representation. Life was good, and they bought houses. Here you are, and I'm pretty sure in 2017, when Trump and his friends landed at Andrews Air Force Base in Prince George's County, they were like,
Whoa.
and
Pretty shady over here.
as he was going in through government trying to enact his little plans back then, the people that were sitting across from him telling you, "Sorry, we can't do that," look like us, because we are the ones who have achieved these high level. We are the deep state that they used to complain about.
We the swamp.
We're the swamp. We're the swamp. Deep state looks like me and you, because typically those leadership positions that do the actual turn of wrenches in the government, they're
Mm-hmm.
black people. And they were sitting there telling the president of the United States, "We can't do that because the mission says this and the law says this." And now they're like, "Bet we'll just get rid of y'all."
Literally, in the first week.
That's what's going
I
to
have
happen.
no
Yeah.
idea. I don't think and I don't even think we can even isolate it to a week, because what'll happen is we're gonna start getting things moving on Saturdays and Sundays too. It's gonna be 7 days of what the hell is
They're gonna be
going
throwing it.
on, all and then they're gonna throw something big that seems big, while the time they're like doing something. They're like, hey, 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 hey. They're like just doing like this right here. It's we
It's
can
way
talk
over.
about
Yeah.
all the bad things what is going on in the United States. I think if anybody's been watching this longer than a minute, 2 minutes, they probably like, okay, maybe I'm starting to wake up. I think it's definitely time we got to give them an understanding of hope, of
Yeah.
what life abroad could give, because it is definitely good to point it out because so many people aren't aware. It's easy because you're so busy in the United States to become unaware of what you have normalized now that at one point used to cause you strife, struggle, literally pain. So many of us have gotten normalized to what we used to be in uproar about. But moving abroad, it is not some magical cure or anything of that nature. Each of the countries have their stuff with them,
Hmm.
limitations, pros, cons, but let us highlight the positive things that we've been able to see or do or be a part of in Panama, in Colombia, so that we can better paint a picture because they have to go to something that will provide
Yes.
the positivity that they're looking for. Because
Look,
we know, and we're some people may look at us as privileged folks. It's my
we are.
friends, they like, you Colombian now, my man. You not even American no more. You call us and talking about the damn grocery prices high and all this stuff. You like you act like you didn't used to live here. And I'm like, no, I don't act like that. I just know better, so
I
I
just know
do
better.
better. I
Right.
just know better,
Why pay
so
that
I
much if
do
you don't
better.
have to? I don't understand.
As a
There's a
person that goes out and has to make every dollar, there's nobody handing me anything for my time, energy, or effort showing up to somewhere. I can't be in a situation where I'm just spending as if as of nothing.
right. Look, I'm here to tell you there's a lot of hope. There's a lot of bright sides to moving abroad. You get yourself out of the way of the constant stress and struggle and strife that you see there. We don't have mass shootings, so there's a big stressor right there. We don't fear guns. When we walk out the house, we don't think anybody's going to rob us or anything. There's some. It's just it's a different lifestyle. It's a different sensibility. We still have, we're from urban places. We have our heads on swivels, but nothing happening. So you
Yeah,
know, we're still aware though. I watch. I still sit with my facing the door when I go to places and all that good stuff, like I was trained to do. But now it's like more about seeing the people coming in and what they have on than checking the people out and seeing what kind of bulges they have in their pockets. And in the United States, I was always making an exit strategy. If somebody came in here and started shooting, how are we going to
back to
survive
the
this?
back. You got to have your back to looking,
Right.
being able to see.
You had to
I
have.
don't even.
We had to have go bags and all kinds of survival strategies for what might happen in the daily life of an American. So, like in my videos, I liken life in the states to the Hunger Games. The premise of that movie, you have people who are selected as tributes amongst its communities, and its tributes have to fight to the death, and they're basically sacrifices for the good of the state. That's what mass shootings are. The Second Amendment and all these loose gun laws, they are making Americans roll the dice every single morning when you get out to see if you're gonna be one of the lucky ones today.
And it's every day at this point. So
Every single day.
every day.
Um,
It's no longer an inner city problem. It's in the suburbs. It's literally it's American pie.
right. I can't even keep up. Somebody was saying something about the I don't even know if it's the last one. I'll just say the black dude that killed some people, and I think it was somewhere in the south. I'll say Georgia,
It was I
Nashville.
know I think it was Nashville.
Nashville, in fact, Antioch. I think that might be the same school district my dad was teaching in. Like, why'd y'all move to Nashville anyway? That's a whole other story, y'all. It's every day. We don't face those issues. Our access to healthcare is better. It's
Huh.
cheaper. The cost of living is cheaper. I mean, DC, we had good jobs, but even with a two income in DC, we were struggling. We were struggling. We
It's
had car
expensive.
notes and all kinds of stuff. Now, part of that was the act of downsizing. We could have gotten rid of that stuff, but in the states, that's what you do, right? You have
Yeah,
these cars.
you
You have
need it. You need it
right,
to feel good about what it is you're doing. That's the program. That's the
right.
program. What?
That's the program. Like I sold my baby was my Ford Mustang 5.0 GT, my midlife crisis car. So I worked on that for years. That was my fellas. Look, I started calling or telling my wife I needed a midlife crisis car like 6 years before I bought it. And like after a year and a half of saying, "Oh, that'd be a cute midlife crisis car. That'd be cute," she started doing it. You know, I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Got one."
Got
Anyway,
one. Got one.
anyway, I bought that to feel good about myself because that is what the American ethos is about. It's not because you needed this thing. You know, I talked myself into thinking I deserve this. You know, I work
Yep.
hard. I put on the mask every day. I go here and work for a man, and I come home with my little dollars and everything. I deserve this treatment. I ain't need none of that. Life
None.
here
You didn't
makes
need
me
it.
life here makes me focus on what's important. We still have some nice things. We live in a nice building, and we bougie, so we like our stuff, and
I
that's
got you.
possible. If you like that, you could get that here too. If you're not bougie, you want to be rustic, you can do that too. Whatever.
Yeah.
It's stuff out here for everyone, but what's not out here is the overt prejudice. I'm not saying racism doesn't exist. I'm not saying
Yeah.
colorism doesn't exist, but there's levels to that stuff. There's
Yeah.
levels to it. There's levels.
American does it. They got a special brand of racism. There's racism everywhere in the world. Where
Right,
water is, racism lives too. However, America has branded racism in such a unique way. It is a one of one kind of racism. There's plenty of other places that are racist, but the they have made it part of their like. It's a part of the culture. It's a part of how they make money because literally you didn't. America's not against slavery. They just said, "Hey, if you're in jail, bro,
right.
you
It
are
still
you a
exists.
slave."
Exactly.
So
It
it's
still
not like
exists.
they're America like this nobility award of America doesn't enslave anybody. No, they're enslaving people right now.
Right,
If you go to jail for whatever reason, even if it's for one night, congratulations, you were a slave for one night because you
yes,
were a portion of the government. That's why you see these people at the fires, the prisoners coming out working for 25 cents a whole day, risking their whole life, can't get out of the prison and go get a fireman job because they are felon, but they
right,
have all the skills and necessary things. So it's
right,
like,
right. And if a regular fireman dies in those fires, there's compensation for the family to get a move on after it. That prisoner dies in the fires, ain't nobody getting nothing. As a matter of fact, the family might have to pay to dispose of the remains. So it's twisted, man. It's
bad
it's
world,
it's
man.
it's, it's,
It's
it's a
cold.
twist. It's a twisted thing. So what we don't deal with here is the mechanisms and how racism is practiced. Like you said in the U.S., it's different brands. Somebody might look snooty at me, but that's it. It's not going to go any further than that. I haven't been denied access anywhere. Um, the police here aren't weaponized against their people. That's another big thing.
That
Um,
is so important because that is how many of y'all, especially like, no, it doesn't even matter because I had my homegirl tell me her dad told her this the exact same way I was told. He was like, make sure you go out when you go outside, you got on clean drawers because you never know what's going to happen. And she said, she said, why wouldn't I have on clean drawers, Dad? But seriously, that is something that we grew up with because it was like, no, you didn't do anything, but that doesn't mean that something won't happen between you and the police. Never mind somebody that's not even the cops. But that is
right.
something that I no longer. When I see the cops here, I actually say, "Hey, what's up?
Yes. I love cops in
What's up?"
Panama. Look, as soon as I got off the plane, I realized the relationship was different. So my life experience in the United States is such that when I walk into a room with a police officer in the West, I'll make eye contact. They make eye contact. We both check each other out, and now we know that we're in this room.
Yeah.
When I got off the plane the first time in Panama, there was a national police officer sitting at the top of the gate, and he had one of them long machine guns that are just common here. They just hang out
Yeah.
here in Latin America,
The
right?
first time you see one though, you like, what? Are they trying to shoot a buffalo? Like, what is going on? It will definitely give you a little pause, like, cause you like, yo, they like, it'd be a little dude with a big ass gun. The gun be bigger than him.
Look, I'm walking up the jetway, and I'm like, okay, let me get ready to see what this is like. And that brother never even noticed me. And I mean, I walked past him like he's trying to establish the eye contact.
Like, you all right under that helmet, bro?
Right. He's like chewing gum or whatever, and that's when I was like, it's a different vibe here. And, I went through a roadblock here in Coronado. They were doing visa checks because I lived in an area with a lot of white Americans who overstayed their visas. So the police are
they kicking it. Kicking you out, huh? It was an ice raid. That's what they're worried about what y'all doing, and people y'all coming over here and staying for extra days that you're not supposed to.
Right. So this is when I felt privileged. This is why I like the cops here. The first time I went through the roadblock, I'm doing what we trained to do at Morehouse. I got my thumbs knocked at the steering wheel, my fingers are pointed to the sky.
He probably was like,
I'm trying to be like, I don't have the words in Spanish to say I'm reaching for my wallet. I'm worried that I'm sweating bullets, right? I don't know what's going on because in the United States, this is a life and death moment. The dude, you're right. He saw me and he was like, what the hell is wrong with this dude? Man, keep going. And the third time I went through, I rolled down my window because my windows are tinted out here. All the windows here in Panama are tinted out. I love it. It's the car I always wanted in the States, but it was too dangerous to drive because, the cops.
Because tinted windows.
Tinted windows, right. That was an easy way to pull us over. Anyway, I rolled my window down, and as soon as they saw who I was, they just waved me through. And that's when I realized I'm not what they're looking for here in Panama.
Yeah.
Now, I'm in the privileged.
Welcome, Todd.
Do your thing, cop. Do your thing. Yay!
See you later.
Blue lives matter. Blue lives matter.
Yo, that's real, man.
I love cops here. And the back part was the other folks in Coronado were complaining about the roadblocks and stuff. So it was nice to hear them. What? And then I did exactly to them what they did to me in the States. Oh my word! What were you doing?
You must have not complied.
Exactly. They've never messed with me that way. What's wrong with you?
I've never had one of those experiences with cops. They're all been nice to me. What were you doing that day? They were just doing their job. I had somebody tell me, I said somebody was mean. They went out of their way. It wasn't even a cop. It was a daggone immigration officer. And I was like, dude was just being an asshole. And somebody said, well, maybe he was just doing his job. Were you at the place? I'm like, you don't know what that man was doing. You know me. Right. You don't know them. What you mean they were doing their job? But I'm like, maybe they were just doing their job.
Look, I'm all buddy with the cops.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I've had police interaction here, so I got pulled over. Hey, don't do this. This is a mistake. I was speeding. Number one, should have been doing that. Number two, I did the. You get 90 days on your U.S. driver license here while you're going through residency. So I was like a day at 110. So the cop, got me to the side of the road. He's got my license. As soon as he saw American license, next thing, okay, let me see your passport. And then he started looking for the passport stamp. They usually didn't do that. So he saw the passport stamp. So he started counting. I'm like, no. So, he starts writing on his hand because, I don't speak Spanish. She doesn't speak that much English, but we're communicating. He's like, the fine is this much. I'm supposed to tow your car to be this much. You had to go to Panama City to pick up your car, it'd be this much. You could give me this much and walk away. So.
Adios, amigo.
Right. Here you go.
Adios.
And that was the best interaction to me in life. Look.
Because nobody needs to go do all of that. He didn't even want to do all of that.
Just one of my life stories. Oh, just one. College. Home for some spring break or something. At UNC Chapel Hill, buying a car that I bought at Morehouse. I have a Georgian license, driving a car with Georgia tags, and now I'm in a college town in North Carolina. and the cop was asking me why I have Georgia license and Georgia tags when I'm a North Carolina resident. I'm like, I'm in college, dude. You work in Chapel Hill. This is the University of North Carolina. What are you doing? I
It's a
was
bunch
doing
of random kids.
42 and a 35. He ended up arresting me that night for 42 and a 35. And luckily for me, the DA of Morris County attended my father's church, and that was my
Nice.
call. So he drove me back to my car after a bunch of apologies because they left my car on the street. By the way, they left my car on
See?
the street. He drove me back to my car, but that's what I mean. The interactions are completely different. Completely different. So I feel at ease here. I do not feel threatened here. I don't, I'm not worried about death coming from the state that's supposed to be
Right.
protecting me. I'm
Protecting.
also not worried about anyone telling me I can't bank here, I can't do things here. I'm running a business in Panama. I have an office now. I never imagined
Oh wow.
that I would have an office in the city, but as part of the business, that was a requirement to get an office space here. And it's at first I was like, that's a. Then when I saw how much it was, I was like, let me shut up. let me shut up because it's cheap. It's cheap. It's cheap. So everything about this move is done. My only regret is not doing it 20 years ago because I could have missed so much. The only thing in those 20 years I would have had the fear of missing out would have been the election of Barack Obama. But since we watch TV here, we would have been right there with y'all, and we still remote vote.
And and you can
until
still,
they tell us we can't.
Right, and you can still always come back. People act like when you leave the United States, it's like I'll never touch the United States ever again. No,
Right.
we go back all the time. Like people get married, people have kids. We want to see our friends that don't live. Like like my family is all still there. So this is not some situation where it's like you can't ever go back. Right, Panama super close. Colombia super close. Like literally, I usually fly into New York because I'm from Philly. So I fly in New York, and then I'll just take a Uber over to Penn Station, and then take the train down.
Look,
which is easy for me.
Easy, super easy and fast. I mean, that's an hour on the train, right?
Yep. Like it's like man, I was like an hour and 20 because it's going fast and it's like not too many stops if you get the right one. But it's easy for me to get back home. But I tell people every time because I usually only go from April to October because when I left America, I also gave up cold weather. So I don't usually go to places at a time when it's under 70 degrees. So I always tell people, please stay alive because I don't want to have to come and see you and I got to go to Florida to get my coat and my hat and my scarf. My friends always tell me when I come home, they're like, why you got that big ass coat on? Because I got one coat. Shut up. Like, because I'm like, that's no longer my lifestyle. I can see the water behind you. So I'm like, that's no longer your lifestyle. These things we've given up. And, to kind of circle back to what you originally started this conversation with you and your wife having spent 2 weeks out here, you did that trying to see how it was, but you didn't really have a structure or a game plan to follow. It was kind of like a wing it, which most of us that are here, we just we wing the whole thing with some research, and some thought process for certain. But there was no blueprint to follow. It damn sure wasn't anybody that was going to say, "Hey, let's put these resources together in a room for you in a way that you can digest it, go back to it, make notes." So that kind of leads us into the relocation tours, bro. And so many people made mistakes. So many people lost money. So many people might have had a bad time and didn't give themselves a real opportunity of living abroad because they were winging it and did not have the equipment to be able to wing it. So now, and this is not everywhere, I can only continue to bring on people and places that either can give you a conversation and understanding and/or the structure and the resources and the actual step-by-step process that you have to take, because so many of these people that are watching on whatever platform you happen to be watching on right now are willing, and we could sum it up on one, to go from TikTok to
Hmm.
terminal. You are willing to go from one video somebody sold you on, whether it's a minute, 2 minutes, and say, I'm going to go there because it sounds good. So many people, I'm going to Thailand. Do you know what day it is? What you mean
Mm-hmm.
day? You know, it's a time difference, but no, it's a different day. Never mind a different time. It's a different time on a different day.
Right.
And a lot of people, I tell people, if if you are making your first move abroad, I personally suggest you stay on this side of the world,
Hmm.
one, at first. Not saying this is where you got to end up forever,
Right.
but
Right.
stay on this side of the world first. And then also consider what the community is like in said place that you are starting. Because there's so many DIYers, and as somebody that puts things together for people to travel, people are like, well, I could just do it myself. And now Chat GPT, they think that is the end all be all of everything. And there are definitely listen, Chat GPT and AI, there are things that you can utilize to get you places, but
Yeah.
they don't know what they aren't even been fed yet.
Exactly.
And you need to go through, if they don't have the experience, it's just like talking to somebody that doesn't know, and they're pulling from things that they may not have verified are actually accurate. It's
Right.
just giving you something that, if you don't have any verification of it, you can't say whether or not it's true or not. So
I use it.
relocation tours, I tell people, if you are in a situation where there is no relocation tours in the place that you're looking for, you can go, at least in your website is probably set up with this, where you give them some understanding of what you're going to be doing. So it's like there's places where you can go to the meat and bones and have to figure it out for yourself. But the easiest thing to do is to join a relocation tour, because these relocation tours are not designed for vacation. They for designed for relocation. So the things that you actually need in order to successfully relocate. So, can you kind of give me what it is that Go Explore Panama does for the people that are looking to Panama and making it easier for them to actually make the first move?
Sure, sure. Be happy to talk about that. What we do with our relocation tours is streamline the process. We help you with a blueprint for success. We went, we hit our head on the low beams. We had to do it all the hard way ourselves, and cut through the chase and develop a program to make it super easy for you. The heart of the program is introducing you to three professionals that you need for a successful relocation. Immigration attorney, who is required in Panama to help you with your visa process. Panama has over 30 different visa options. So as soon as you book your tour, we connect you with the immigration attorney so that you can start looking for the visa option that's best for your situation. What's going to be the cheapest, easiest visa for you to get. The second professional that we hook you up with is a real estate agent. Panama does not have a multiple listing service. It's not a centralized database where everything is kept. You're going to have to work with a real estate agent to find rentals or purchases. And then we also coach people. We talk to people about whether or not they need to buy property here. I'm always telling people to take your time, slow down, rent is cheap. Make sure you actually like living in Coronado or actually like living in Moquete or, you
Date.
know,
Date them. Don't
exactly.
marry them.
Date around, date around. Right, right, right. That's a perfect analogy. I'm gonna steal that.
It's all good, brother.
The third expert that we hook you up with is an English speaking healthcare provider. Because I'm 55, I got maintenance meds. I know y'all do too. So you're gonna have to talk to somebody about how to access the healthcare system here. There's public and private healthcare, how prescriptions work. Can you get the same medications here that you're used to? If you're a veteran, can you get access to benefits? If you're retired, Medicare, they do all of that. So I hook you up with these three professionals. Your first day of the tour is meeting those professionals and getting, rolling up your sleeves. The way my tours are designed, you're already doing your homework in the States before you get here. So when you're meeting with the immigration attorney, that's a working meeting. It ain't, hey, how you doing? My name is. It's, hey, girl, I've been talking to you for 3 months on the phone already.
Yeah.
Here's my documents. Let's get this thing started. Um, and the real estate tour is the same way. We do in-depth neighborhood tours where people get out in the neighborhood so they can see the vibe of this neighborhood versus that neighborhood. We take them into farmers markets, learn how to ride the subway here, um, and you get to talk to expats who live in these neighborhoods to get their point of view. What led them here? What do they like? What is it about this neighborhood that I need to be concerned about? Like if you came to where I live, the first thing I'm going to ask you is how much you like noise because Panamanians love to party, and this is where they do.
Dun, 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 dun,
Right,
dun, 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 dun.
right. Dude, Latins are loud. There's music and fireworks. So get ready. I thought I was ready, man. Carnival. I survived 10 Freakniks, right? I thought I was ready. No, no, no. Let me tell you, man. Let me tell you, they're on a whole nother level. They're on a whole nother level.
Yo, that's so funny.
I need like 15 more freak. I don't even know if Freaknik will qualify for what they were doing at Carnival. But anyway, going back to the relocation tour, the tours are designed to give you, for 5 days, an immersive look at what life is like here and to introduce you with the people that are going to be working the processes for you when you get here. And we also are big on establishing a sense of community. So we're going to make sure you're meeting some of the people that are already here. We connect you with folks. I run a WhatsApp chat group here that's full of about 250 expats from all over that live all over the country. We help each other out. We keep each other up to date about what's going on. Has anyone dealt with this with immigration? All these kind of questions. You have a sense of community. You're not by yourself. People are playing bid whist tournaments, spade tournaments. They're getting together out the beaches and partying. They get together in the city and go into restaurants and everything. So we plug you into that. The relocation tour is really designed to help connect you with the resources that you're going to need and to give you some basic information about possible areas to live. You're going to see some apartments. The real estate agent does a really good job of connecting people with properties that they want to see. And
Yeah.
everything is smooth. So we started December of 23.
Okay.
So 24 is our first full year of doing relocation tours, and we moved 21 families here successfully. That's just the people that are physically already here.
That's
There's a lot
amazing.
more in process that are, look, I feel blessed and privileged to have been able to have created this to make it easier because, look, I know y'all are struggling. I see what's coming. My only frame of reference is black and white, eyes on the prize videos. But look, I didn't want to live through that either. So it's different. You don't have to endure what's coming. You have so many advantages over people, over your ancestors. You have the ability to get passports and go places, even if it's a struggle. And sometimes I would talk to people about this. At this point, it might not even be an elective type of move. You might need to start looking at yourself as a refugee. And if that's going to be the case, look, the same way people come to the southern border to change their children's lives, to get something better than what they're leaving. People leaving Venezuela and all that violence and trying to do something so they can survive. They're doing it with the clothes on their backs. Me and my friend, one of my boys at Morehouse used to talk all the time in the States about adopting the hustler mindset, the immigrant mindset, because they were hustlers. We would see the cats come in New York and DC or whatever from wherever they were, and they would just put their heads down and get to work. You might be 10 people from Ghana living in a house together, and they would
Everybody
share
get
the
into it.
bills. Everybody getting into it, and now 10 people own 10 businesses. All right.
Yep.
That's the same type of thing, the same type of mentality that we have to get to. Sometimes we have to emulate what other we see other people doing. So I'm not trying to encourage people to come here with nothing but the clothes on your backs. I'm trying to say if you need to get out of that country to save your life, get out of that country to save your
To
life.
save
Worry
your
about the
life, to
rest of
save
it.
your kids' life.
Exactly.
Your kids are growing up with fire drills and mass incident drills as if that's supposed to be part of the normal cadence of a child's life. It's getting
No.
to the point where no city or state you're going to be safe from this because it's just become a part of the daily cadence. It's good to hear because I know I got people in the comments asking about the relocation tours and what it all entails and why you would want to go on. Somebody asked in the comments, is the relocation tour for when you decided to move? Well, how did you decide to move into said place if you didn't go on a relocation tour? I will tell you, just like dating around, and dating, this is a little bit different than dating, because with dating, after you may have done it for a while, if you take a break from who you were with, most people will recommend you not to go immediately go into another relationship. However, when you talk about dating as in you living in a country and you being married to a country, you have to look at that, whereas you can't have a limbo period because you do need to be somewhere in
Right.
someone's house. So when we take a look at these relocation tours, you probably shouldn't just go on one.
No. Not
You
just
should
one.
probably go on a number of them. Once you've narrowed it down, that's what I'm saying. So many people haven't written it down. And because maybe life and everything else, I write everything that I have to do today, tomorrow, today, so I don't wake up trying to figure out what I have to do. I literally follow my game plan. However, so many of you guys have not adopted that and don't even know, once again, what it is you're leaving, what it is you're looking for, and then you have to go narrow that down to, okay, out of that, what I'm looking for and what I'm leaving, what are these places? And it may be three places.
Right.
Okay, well, how can you actually say, well, I'm going to move to this place and this is going to be the spot for me, if you didn't go on something that would give you the take the veil off and not be a vacation, but what does me buying a house here look like? What do these neighborhoods look like? So
Right.
our relocation tours, Panama, Colombia, they follow the same structure, bro. Like literally, we bring you in and put you in front of the experts, the real estate person, the healthcare person, because we're so used to healthcare being paying hundreds of dollars a month for insurance. You get sick, you go to urgent care. There's a $60 copay. You spend 25 minutes in the doctor's office waiting to be seen. You see the nurse for 5 minutes, and then you see your said doctor for 3 minutes. And then they give you medicine that may cost the equivalent of what the copay was. And you're like, what the hell am I paying for? Whereas here, I know in Colombia, it costs like $40 for the doctor to come to your house and spend a whole hour with you, the person that can give you shots, x-rays, all of this stuff in the home. So
Right.
these things are different, and you need to know what your levers are, if you can actually do this or you can't do that. So these experts come in and they talk to you about these things. They're able to ask questions and answers, and then, similar to yours, the next 3 days we spend the first half of the day letting you see a neighborhood, co-working spaces, gyms, the difference between the grocery store and the local market, because
Right.
those two things are not the
No, they're
same.
not.
You could spend all your money as if you're back in the United States if you're shopping in the wrong grocery store. The banks, what else is there? Normal things like where to go get a coffee. Where do people actually go at nighttime where it's not just partying and raging, but it's actual quality of life. These things are important. So to answer your question, Reese, you know you don't need to have decided that you want to live there to go on a relocation tour. You need to have narrowed it down to a number of places and say, hey, I'm going to pick at least two different relocation tours, because that is going to increase. It's not going to guarantee you anything,
Right.
but it is going to increase the probability of you having positivity when you're there. And then, just like your community, and I'm going to point something out though, but just like your community, you're going to be able to take people on relocation tours to the community that already lives there and see and get them to have even more interaction, similar to my community. There are a bunch of black expats that are out here, and a bunch of people out here in general, um, and connecting you to those things on ground is going to be a part of, is this daily life for me? And one thing I will say, and I love, because Panama and Colombia are really close. Panama used to be a part of Colombia.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of similarities there. Proximity is super close as well. It's a little bit cheaper here in Medellin than it is in Panama. I will tell you that. There are a lot more retired black expats in Panama. There are a lot more younger entrepreneurs. Like, it's a lot of younger retired military vets are out here also that I find. But the community portion of this is such an important thing that we just got to make certain that you know of, because we're talking about how Panama and Colombia and life and the community, but not every place is set up. I haven't heard anybody in Ecuador or Peru or black in Uruguay, and that may be something that is important to you.
Yeah.
So when considering the relocation tour and narrowing it down, you need to figure out if you are going to be, I would say, Ferdinand Magellan. You're going to go out to paths uncharted yet, and become
Right.
and create the community, shine the light, turn it on for everybody, and say, "Hey, come! This is a great place." Or are you going to be a part of a community and become a part of a community that is already thriving, already has things? There's a Black in Medellin chat, one of the admins that is down here. So I find people on the Instagram, the internet, TikTok. People are jumping in, asking questions. There's a Facebook group for these kind of things, because we're trying to do is foster community. We're trying to also foster conversation that leads to action, because we're at a time of action right now. Whether it's you do need to take action, or you want to take action but don't know what to do. And people like Will and myself being able to put the resources together to see where maybe we didn't stumble, but there was a little hiccup in the process. You guys have to realize that you'd be lucky to go to Panama and Colombia, because there's people that have already done it and have put it into a course or a way where you can digest it. There's other places that may be on your radar, but so many real conversations has to be had if you are there. And I know you tell this to the people that come through you, like, I can only give you so much.
Right.
You have to do so much work. Like I said, this is not moving from Philadelphia to Atlanta.
No.
Yeah, Shawty and Finna I had to cater my ear to that, but that's not that big of a deal.
Right.
An entire another language, culture. You could be disrespectful assuming that everything is going to move as fast as it does in America, and
Right.
not even realize it, because that's what you're used to.
Okay.
So, taking all of those things into account is why these relocation tours are important. And if you can't, and if Panama and Colombia is not on your radar, at least take what we just said, as far as you need to get some trusted real estate people to be able to give you some information. You need to get some trusted immigration lawyer people that can
Mm-hmm.
tell you the truth. And if you
Yes.
do not speak Spanish, then find someone that's English, that's vetted. So many people are getting it. And you mentioned getting off of Facebook the other day, and
Yes.
a lot of people are facing that. I don't know where people are going to go to find this kind of info. Like, if you find us, Reese found us because she was looking into Medellin and she happened to find a YouTube channel. So thankful for the algorithm doing what it is supposed to do. But if these communities aren't in a place where the people that haven't made the exit off of them yet, we have to do whatever it is that we can. So if you're watching this, do what you have to do. Like it, comment, subscribe, share. Go explore Panama. Like it, follow, do all of these things, because we are giving you guys things that the community needs. The cooperative economics is not even a financial trade right now, because all of this information is free. You could never call us and still utilize everything you heard tonight.
That's true. That's true.
So it
Little
can't be all about
nuggets.
the money. We've been on here for almost an hour and a half.
Nah.
You know, time is money.
Right. Right. Nah. I'm trying to be Marcus Garvey at this point. That's the mentor that I'm looking at. The philosophy I'm trying to emulate. Trying to save some folks because y'all.
We need us. We need
Yeah.
us.
Look. join the diaspora out here where it's easier to survive and live in a place that isn't designed to kill you or deny you
Listen, man,
access.
I'm gonna leave you guys with some thoughts, right? Because if community is not the way out of this, then there would have not been so many separate, great things that went to go against us becoming together. Think about all of the organizations that we created that were just like, we're gonna make sure every kid in our neighborhood has breakfast. We're
Hmm.
gonna make sure that our kids can walk to school and not feel threatened by just because they're black. Those organizations were all taken away. I come from a city where the Philadelphia Police Department bombed the whole city block. Now
Ooh,
that
I
was
remember
2 years
that.
before I was born, but I actually know one of the people. He was one of my mentors growing up as a kid in camp. But these things are a situation where we have grown accustomed to seeing such negativity be a normalcy in our life.
Hmm.
And I pray that somebody decides that this is an opportunity for us to come back, because there will be no reason for the FBI and COINTELPRO and all of these big entities, government entities, to go in a scenario and say, yo, we got to shut this down.
Right.
We got to get rid of this. You know why? Because we are stronger together. We can
Yes.
go further together. So many of us have gotten to the between capitalism and individualism that they wouldn't even have these conversations between two people. Listen, I haven't met William yet,
Hmm.
but understanding who we are, where we came from, what we're doing, and the opportunity, whether it's somebody on his platform, some seeing Colombia, somebody on my platform seeing Panama, we just want to be able to be the lifeboat that your guys say, nobody sent me no savior. Well, we right. I can't save you, but we right
Save
here.
yourself.
We right here with information, knowledge,
Right.
and resources. Will, can you give us you guys website for this
It
information in Panama?
it sure. Go explore Panama is go dash explore Panama. You got to put that dash in between go and explore. But go dash explore Panama. You can email me at bigwill at go dash explore Panama. Um, we have a Facebook page for the time being. Instagram page, same name. Go no dashes for Instagram or Facebook and TikTok, yes, and fan base.
Yeah,
We just launched our fan base account, so go explore Panama there as well. And I'm easy to find. And YouTube, there's a YouTube channel. Go explore Panama. You can reach out to me that way. I check all of that stuff. So no matter how you reach out to me, it might not be instantaneous, but I'll be able to get in contact with you.
nah,
Email is the best way to get to me. That I check every day without fail.
that's perfect. When is your next relocation tour? Does that happen like monthly? Does it happen like on a schedule?
It says they're weekly, and people just buy into weekly slots. So the tours
Okay.
are private. Their full week tour is private. It's just going to be you and your folks. It's not going to be a bus. I don't do herds because people don't get the information, at least in my experience, that they need. So it's all private. We do one weekly one and then 3 days each week. So there's
Okay.
an opportunity for 4 people to be here at any given time during the week. But everybody's getting individual attention. So anytime you're ready, we're ready to have you. Uh, the
That's
only t-
awesome.
the only time, well, let me put it out there. The only time that we're not going to be servicing is when we take our vacation, because one of the things I learned now is that work-life balance. Look, I'm trying to save souls, but I need to fill my own cup
Yep. Put your
so I can
mask on
pour into
first, brother.
yours. That's it.
Nah.
I gotta breathe.
Yep.
I gotta breathe so I
You
can
got
help
to
you
breathe
breathe.
so you can help other people. You got that's real. That's real. So
So
that's good, guys, because I didn't know that. So it's pretty much anytime you can call weekly outside of him being on vacation and get one of these tours set up. And it sounds like it'll be private. Um, also, so that is definitely something where you get some direct and detailed attention. I will tell you that our next tour is March 12th through the 17th.
okay.
That is coming up in a couple of months. Our information is at moodtravelcolombia.com. We have signed up for the relocation tours. We've got free information on the different kinds of visas that are here, different city guides, neighborhood guides, helpful blogs. We've also got our expert contacts information there because, yes, you do need to contact them and you can contact them. I'm not even gatekeeping that. We're realistically just giving you guys the ability to get some of these conversations, as you mentioned, Will, started beforehand. So when you come, it's not like you didn't know this person. This person was already here. This is designed so you have an ease and comfortability level with the people that are going to be helping you move. We do not do them weekly or monthly at this point. We are really just starting because I realized going into the election, Medellin didn't have this. So
Mm.
we no, not for us. We didn't even have a black expat group like like a WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Like here in Medellin, there was none. There was something that was for like it was like people of color, but we ran into I had no problem with that. We ran into a
Not
situation
me
though
either.
where it was just conversations that were happening in front of mixed company, and we need a safe space to be able to be us and have conversations that actually impact us because we have a little bit different perspective than just somebody that's not like I am black, not of color. I am black. So these conversations came up, and it was like, I knew that we're going to need something for us. Now, maybe I really haven't seen a lot of some even other relocation tourists here in Medellin. However, I am willing to be the first person to go out and put myself out there because I know what my community needs. I know that we need us to take the people that do have the resources, have the time, have the ability to speak, and then have ability to act and put something together. So wanted to bring these conversations to light, both about Colombia as well as Panama, give you guys something that you felt somebody actually cared enough to take some time out on a beautiful Friday because it's beautiful here. I don't know what temperature is there, but it's about 80, 75 degrees right now. I can go outside and just walk around, and it's, yeah, you guys are cold right now. You guys are cool, and
We
that's
get
no
snow.
shade to you guys.
The whole country,
It
they got snow in
snows,
Florida. Everybody got snow.
Florida, New Orleans, but the idea here is
Oh, no snow
to
no more.
continue to have these convos, bro. To continue to bring people to this platform, highlight other black-owned businesses, other black expats that are doing the work that is needed to be done. So, Will, I appreciate you for answering the call. I reached out to you humbly and said, brother, I just want to be able to provide something for them. I see what you're doing. I love it, and I can't.
Oh,
I will I will never tell nobody like because somebody was like, well, you can go and tell them about Mexico. I don't live in Mexico. I've never lived in Mexico. Why would I tell you about that? That's what's
exactly.
wrong with travel content and travel creation. You have too many experts that don't know what they're talking about. I only speak on Colombia, and then there's so many things I take a back seat to and say, hey, I'm not a healthcare, I'm not an immigration lawyer, I'm not a language expert. So
Mm-mm.
thank you, Will, for
I
being a
don't know
part of
anything about
this.
getting to Colombia. But I do know I like Cartagena. Well, I have a great time in Cartagena. That's
It's too hot there for me to be living
we
there all the time, to
we
be
got to get
honest.
to Medellin, man. We got to come check you out. That's next on our list. And you're right.
Please.
It's close. It's too easy. It's
It's
way
too
too
easy,
easy to get
bro.
back to.
It's you gonna like it. It's so much beautiful green nature out here. Man, it's nostalgic of what we used to remember about America. Kids outside playing, people in the park, malls
Oh,
being malls. This is this is this is. It makes you feel like maybe it didn't go disappear. It just moved out of America. To be honest with you. Now
yeah, kids still play
tomorrow,
outside. I see that all the time. Kids do play outside.
yeah, they do not in the United States. It's not even
No,
safe to do so.
it's not. Right? Why would
Um,
they? Why would they?
I
It's
don't blame them. They
dangerous.
got to stay home with a tablet.
Exactly.
Mrs. Doubtfire is the tablet these days. That is who's
Yes.
raising these children.
Yes.
I'll be on tomorrow too. So anybody you know, Will, that is interested, possibly, I told y'all to stay on this side of the world, but some of you guys are really ambitious. I'm going to be bringing one of my friends from high school. Known her since we were 13 years old. She actually has been living in Qatar. She owns the Blacks in Qatar Instagram page, so you guys go check that out. Bintu will be on with us tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Because I always tell y'all to look at the time when you say, oh, I want to go to Thailand. It will be 8 p.m. in Qatar tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern time. So we will be back on tomorrow. We don't usually only go Monday through Friday, but we got to get on people's time schedules to give them this information. So if Middle East and Qatar is possibly on your list,
you're doing a big
I got y'all. I'm gonna keep moving and keep having these conversations, bringing on different locations. That way, you can just come to one place and find everything you need. Try to make it easy, man.
All right, man. I appreciate you for having me. Thanks for reaching out.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate it. Let's continue to build together and make sure you guys are tapping in with the community, even if you don't move abroad. Make sure you guys are building community wherever it is that you are.
Ciao.
Have a good
Peace
one.
out.